Hi, in this video we will continue to talk about the characteristic function derivation, and we will end this part talking about Feynman path integrals. It will be quite natural to talk about this topic because it has a great resemblance with the way we derived the Bohr-Sommerfeld relations. So let's begin. It's nice to talk about Feynman path integrals because the Feynman's approach uses a different symbol. We all know that it is based upon the notion of time, and we used up to now the notion of infinitesimal displacement. But the interesting fact about that is that if we use the infinitesimal displacement delta Q up to second order, Feynman's approach also uses its infinitesimal parameter delta T as up to second order too. So it seems at first sight that these two approaches have a lot to do with each other. Okay, let's see how can we make explicit this relation by developing some mathematics. So as we have already said, we will use the same approach used to derive the Bohr-Sommerfeld rules, but now trying to make the necessary transformations in the variables so that we can pass from the moment, we will pass from moments to time, moment and position, phase space, to position and velocity, configuration space. Okay, this is how we can do that. We see here that we have this transformation. It is natural to do that, just multiply and divide by delta t. And we also know that if we assume that here is the Hamiltonian, then we can write p q dot as the Lagrangian minus the Hamiltonian. And this is all we have to do, in fact, because all the steps that we have made in the video about the Bohr-Sommerfeld rules can now be done exactly in the same manner. So we may express the displacement, the drag, as I have said, of the function psi, which is now taken at the point of the configuration space q plus q point, the velocity, times delta t. We can now use the fact that we have this exponent here in the exponential and use this relation to write it simply in this way. Of course, there will appear a Jacobian of the change of variables, and our function phi will have to, which is the joint probability amplitudes, will have to be written now in terms of the velocities. But making this, we can finally get the kernel of the transformation, which is simply that exponential multiplied by the Jacobian of the transformation. We then make exactly the same steps, which is multiplying in sequence these kernels, because this will make us go from a time tb to a time from a time ta to a time tb, which is not infinitesimally connected now. This is a finite interval of time, But to be a finite interval of time, since delta t is infinitesimal, we have to take the limit as n goes to infinity. This will make the since we have here an exponential, of course, we have a sum in the exponent and the product of the Jacobians. And of course, this exponent, since n goes to infinity and delta t is infinitesimal, this is just the integral we are trying to find. This integral, of course, can be written in this way, which is the action as we should expect, minus this element here, which makes no difference when we are talking about the Liouville equation, because any function of the Hamiltonian doesn't make difference when inserted into the Liouville equation. So, using this mathematical apparatus, we can derive the same expression that appears in the Feynman's approach. But the main point here is not the mathematics of these developments. It is the fact that Feynman's approach introduces a new element of interpretation that will be extremely important for the developments that are to come. In fact, as we will show, and most of you probably already grasped, Feynman's path integral introduces the flavor of a stochastic support. We are accustomed to see the Feynman's approach as representing the sum over all possible paths between two time instants of time. Of course, this can be translated into two different points. So instead of talking about delta t, of course, we can be talking about delta q in the same way. And this is the connection between the two approaches. But what is most important here is that when one talks about this kind of summation, it seems that we are talking about stochastic realizations of some phenomenon. So this is the uh, simulation of a stochastic phenomenon. Doesn't matter which phenomenon it is. But what we have here is that if we were in a approach like Feynman's, we would have to sum over all these realizations of the stochastic phenomenon. And this is what it seems that Feynman's approach is telling us. I'm saying all these in terms of flavors and seems to be because it's not obvious in Feynman's approach how this stochastic support enters into quantum mechanics. Moreover, if you look at the Schrödinger equation, it is even more difficult to understand if this equation has a stochastic support, because clearly there is no stochastic element in the Schrödinger equation. But this doesn't mean that we cannot find a stochastic support under the Schrödinger equation. And this is what will guide us in our next steps. In fact, if we want to unravel this kind of stochastic behavior, first trial should be driven by trying to reformulate the derivation of the Schrödinger equation in terms of a different construct. We now will try to derive this equation using the construct of entropy, and we will see in the next video that it is possible to make such a derivation, and even it is possible to make the connection between the entropy derivation and the characteristic function derivation. And this will put together the two methods of derivation, but with a net gain, which is that now we have another construct, which is the entropy and construct derived from it to interpret quantum mechanics. And all these interpretations will go in the direction of showing that quantum mechanics has a stochastic support. And this will be extremely important to understand, for instance, the relation between ensembles and single systems in the interpretation of the formalism. Then, in the next video, I will show you the entropy derivation, and we will try to get from this derivation some issues about the semantics of the theory. Thanks for watching.